Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We'll just give it a few seconds to allow everybody to enter the virtual room. Thanks. Okay, in the interest of time, we'll get started. Hello and welcome. Thank you all for joining us to our workshop today for the STEM Scholars community. Here's a brief overview of our agenda. I'll be doing very quick housekeeping and telling you a bit about the STEM Rec and Scholars community. We'll preview a little bit of the upcoming STEM Scholars meeting. But the main portion of our workshop today will feature a presentation on honing your networking skills by our guest, Lisa Ganem. We're so happy to have her today. We're going to reserve plenty of time for Q&A and do a very quick wrap up. Next slide. So hi again, everybody. My name is Tara King. I'm the STEM Rec coordinator. We're so happy to have you today. Just a bit of housekeeping notes to help us facilitate things swiftly. We would like you to keep your microphone on mute, but at any time you can write questions in the chat. And also we welcome you to introduce yourself and say hi in the chat and say which college or university you're from. If you'd like to, we would encourage you to put on your microphone and your video, just so that we can see your happy faces and be able to see how you're responding to everything. We welcome to introduce yourself in the chat and type any questions you have throughout the webinar, as I mentioned before. If you need closed captioning, wanted to let you know that it is available by clicking the CC icon in the meeting control bar at the bottom of your screen. Today's presentation will be recorded and posted on our REC website. Also, there's a copy of the slides available for you if you'd like to follow along. All the slides have clickable links, and I'll put the link to the slides in the chat now. If you have any issues technology-wise, please feel free to message my colleague Jamila Blake within the Zoom chat or send her an email at jblake@AAAS.org. And at the end of this webinar, we'll have a very short one-question survey. We invite you to take this survey to provide your feedback to us as we use your feedback to improve our events going forward. That's our housekeeping items. So many of you are probably familiar with the STEM Resource and Evaluation Center, but for those of you who are not, the AAAS STEM Resource and Evaluation Center really works to support all of the STEM programs across the country. There are about 650 programs at colleges and universities that support scholars to achieve STEM degrees and enter the STEM workforce. So we support not only the scholars, but the PIs and faculty members as well. And we support the entire NSF STEM portfolio by collecting information and creating reports that show the wonderful outcomes of these programs and advocating on behalf of them. So that's just a quick snapshot of what we do at AAAS and how we support the STEM programs at multiple levels, including the scholars. Next slide. So we are so happy to support you as scholars in your professional development and in your career trajectories. One way that we support you is to create a community of you that on LinkedIn, so a virtual platform, you can engage in it at any time. We welcome you, if you're not already part of the STEM Scholars community, to join us on LinkedIn. We have the link here on the slide, and I'll also post the link in the chat. Next slide. In addition, we have the opportunity for you to share your story with us, that we can spotlight you on a national level through our website and our newsletters. We welcome you to submit your story through our STEM Scholar Spotlight series. There's a QR code. I've also just posted the link in the chat. Feel free to check that out. And we really welcome you to take a look, and if you'd like to engage in this, because we love to elevate all of the bright scholars and their stories on our website and in our newsletters. Next slide. So one of the biggest ways that we support scholars, as you know, is by hosting an annual convening of you all. We are so excited to have everybody um, engage with us in San Diego this year. We are counting the days down, October 2 through 4. So coming up very soon at the Manchester Grand Hyatt in San Diego. For those of you who happened to miss our info session last week, on September 16th, we had a very thorough info session where we talked about a lot of meeting logistics and things for you to know as you prepare to attend the meeting. We have a recording of that session. I've also posted a link in the chat. Welcome you to check it out. And if at any time you have additional questions, feel free to check out our many FAQ documents, as well as send us an email at steminitiative@aas.org. Additionally, today we launched the Whova meeting app. So we really welcome you to try to log in today and check out all the information we have posted there. We have detailed information about the agenda, speakers, workshops, posters, so much information is there. Please try to log in as soon as you can. If you have any difficulties logging in, you can send us an email at steminitiative@aas.org. Next slide. So today's objectives are to help you increase your confidence and competence to initiate new contacts in professional settings. This is particularly relevant for those of you who will be joining us in San Diego as you engage with potential employers and others in the career and education fairs, as well as just throughout the meeting in general, just engaging with other colleagues, other faculty members, AAAS staff, activity facilitators. We really welcome you to feel confident and comfortable talking, asking questions, and really participating to the fullest in the meeting. So this is the reason why we've hosted this workshop today and invited our special guest, Lisa Ganem from UC San Diego's Career Services, to help you all and provide tips and advice so you can build and expand your professional network. Next slide. So I want to take a second to introduce Lisa and thank her so much for joining us and putting together this workshop today. Lisa Ganem is an award-winning career development strategist with more than 25 years of experience advancing student success in higher education. Currently specializing in all areas of engineering at UC San Diego's Career Center, she brings a deep portfolio of expertise across diverse design-driven and STEAM industries. She is a highly skilled career services process. She's highly skilled in career services processes, and she has a demonstrated history of producing graduates who are successfully employed within their chosen fields. So bravo, Lisa.
Thank you.
We are so happy that you're joining us and supporting our scholars in this way. Through the webinar, and also you'll be participating and joining us in San Diego. So we're so
Yes.
happy to have you join us there as well. So with that,
Great.
I want to hand things over to you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Good morning from San Diego, and good afternoon for those of you on the East Coast. So today we're going to go over some tips and tricks that'll really help you navigate the conference floor. Also, some additional insights that might help you along the way within your careers. For those of you, and I believe most of you are in the STEM and STEAM areas. I also will talk a little bit about portfolio development that I think isn't mentioned a lot within this industry, and I think it's really vital and it helps really sell your skill set. So with that, let's get started. Next slide, please. So today, some of the things that we're going to cover are what to consider, preparation is key, what to wear, introducing yourself, strategically planning your route as you navigate the floor, professional etiquette and networking, asking questions, taking notes, following up, LinkedIn, and network, and the jobs will follow sort of concept. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So what to consider? These are some of the things to think about as you start preparing, as you start packing, things that you might want to walk through in your head. At the event, I hope to gain insights into the primary goal I have for attending this event is, so maybe start creating lists of some of the things and goals that you'd like to achieve while there. To strengthen my professional development, I plan to The experience and skills that set me apart as a STEM student include, and start thinking about with these STEM student processes, what are some projects that you've created that are pretty notable? Have you created a robot? Have you done some drafting? Have you done some real high-end programming that really influenced some mechanical device? So if you have some, I call them proof of concepts, you might want to have them on your cell phones, or if you're bringing an iPad, you might want to have a desktop folder that allows you to access them quickly so that they can see them. Now, if you have a GitHub or something to that effect, you might want to have those links ready so that you can kind of get directly to that project. And if you're having a great conversation with someone, you're showing them some examples of the work as you discuss some of the projects that you have. So one area of growth I'd like to work on through networking is I'm particularly interested in connecting with professionals who can share perspectives on. So, what are your goals within the industry? What are some of your chosen fields and perspectives of growth that you hope to achieve? And ask questions that you'd like to ask industry leaders and the kind of internship and career pathways I'm most curious about. And so we're going to cover a lot of these concepts throughout the PowerPoint and dive a little deeper into how you can approach this through research before you go and as you connect with the individuals who are going to be on the floor. So next slide, please. So preparation is key. This is where you're going to do your deep dive beforehand, because if you're ready and prepared and have some insight, you'll have some things to talk about. So first of all, you've probably already done this, but just in case you haven't, you want to register for the fair. Make sure you have everything all set up, ready to go. Make sure you have your schedules of events, your priorities that you wish to achieve while there. Maybe you saw some really cool workshops that you want to attend. So get your scheduling all set up in your calendar and sort of foolproof for your travel so you don't have to organize all of that when you're already there. Research companies. So this is where it really gets super important. When you go into the companies, go to the company websites of those who are going to be in attendance. Take a look at their about statements. What is their company concept? I like to think of this as their company values. What are they looking for as far as their employees? What are they hoping to do? What do they value in the world? What are some press releases of some latest uh, projects that they're working on? How is their stock doing in the market? And what do their job opportunities look like? So don't just look at internships, look at entry level opportunities that will give you some idea of what those jobs look like, so that as you're getting involved in the conversation with these companies, you have a little insight into what some of those skills might be. And you might even have some questions. So as you're doing your research, jot down some questions for the specific companies so that you have them ready when you get to those tables. And you may not hit all those questions, but at least it'll give you some, concept of what you might want to discuss if you have a really great conversation going forward with one of the HR managers or one of the individuals who will be at the table. Prepare questions, so you have them ready. Apply for job opportunities that interest you in advance. So if you see that there are internships, and you are interested and you're ready to go and you have your resume, go ahead and apply in advance so that when you get to the table, you can say, I've already applied. And by the way, here is a paper document I can hand you. And what that paper document does is it allows the HR person to make a note, online application done. So now there's a little smiley face, there might be something else, some little code word that they have so that when they go back to their stack of resumes, there's a little star and a little emphasis point on your resume. So resumes and portfolios, create a resume and portfolio, if possible, customized to the company. So as you do your research, you might find that there is a really great company that is doing exactly what you want to do. So what you do is you'll customize that resume in the direction of the job that you're going after. You might tweak a few things. You might have a summary of qualifications that really lets them know who you are for that intended role specifically, and maybe allows you to add some pipeline process within your bullet points of what they're looking for you to do. So maybe they want you to research, test, debug, analyze, program, whatever the steps it took you to finish something. You want to make sure that you're talking about those steps so that they can see that you understand the concept of the day to day. And only list the things that you can do, that you have done, that you're skilled in. I know that a lot of people are talking about applicant tracking systems and keywords. Don't cheat. Don't just copy the job description and paste it in your resume as a blank font. You really wanted to emphasize the skill sets that you have. No one has 100%. If you have anywhere from 78 to 82% match, you're great. Even if not, if it's an internship, there's a lot more flexibility because they really want someone that they can mold, that has the brain power and the passion for really learning, to really infuse that skill set. So be prepared, and that will impress as well. So also, if at your current school you have counselors who are available who can assist you with the process, make sure you book those appointments before you head towards San Diego so that you have everything ready to go, everything printed out. If you want, you might even have some business cards that you can kind of pass out. Maybe you're in line, standing in line, grabbing a drink, and you have a quick card that you can pass with your contact information. And also creating a portfolio, little leave behinds, little brochure that you might have of examples, or even what I used to do with some students is on the back of your resume, if you have some conceptual work that is very visual, on the back side of a double printed resume, you might have some visual content that will give them some insight into some of the things that you've created. So it's a mini portfolio, one tear sheet that's easy for them to carry without losing parts and pieces. And then present your proof of concept on a digital device. So maybe you have some videos of a walking robot. Maybe you have some aeronautics experience where you've developed a projectile of some sort, whatever it is that you have that really can be seen in a lot more depth. You put in sort of a booklet, and it could be just a PowerPoint, really. Just, go on Canva, get a chosen template, and then bring in some of those images and some of those concepts that really show a lot more. If you can see the action, it's much better, because I can tell you that I have this beautiful trash can sitting next to me. But the fact that I just mentioned trash can, all of you online today have a different picture of what that trash can looks like. Until I show you what my trash can looks like, you have no idea. So that's what those pictures do. It allows you to show them the design, the thinking that went into it, the design concepting, maybe how you join certain elements, the mechanisms that went into play, and maybe even some flashing lights that make it really decorative. So next slide, please. What to wear? What to wear? Be comfortable, wear comfortable shoes, recommended flats of some kind. But open-toed shoes, probably not the best thing for a trade show floor, just because there's a lot of people stepping around and crowding around. You might also want to wear, like even today, what I'm wearing is a little casual. It's a little more professional shirt. It's a little busy with texture. I also have my pearls on just to impress a little bit more, maybe some nice earrings. But of course, if you go online and do a Google search for business casual, even business casual Southern California, it is going to be a little warm, but it might also be cold depending, because we are seaside today. We've been in a heat wave, but all of a sudden it's storming today, which is really weird for San Diego. So you never can tell, but always come ready. You might even want to wear layers, bring a sweater of some sort in case it does get a little chilly, that you can tie around your waist or tie onto your bag. So, take a look and prepare accordingly. But most of all, be comfortable and look good and clean and sharp. First impressions do matter. Next slide, please. Introducing yourself. What is the goal? What are you looking to accomplish from the event? What are your skills? Introduce yourself with value. Find out what type of skills they are looking for in candidates, and prepare an elevator speech. You might go, as you get nervous and you're introducing yourself, and even I get that way too. If I had to introduce myself today, I would have been, what am I going to say? I have too many years of experience. What do I pull together from that experience? But more than anything, I like to think of myself as a multidisciplinary, friendly person who really likes people. I like to engage and have an enjoyable experience on the one-on-one or in a group session that is really productive. So for me, that's kind of who I am in a nutshell. And who are you in a nutshell when it comes to what job you're looking for with that company, or what internship or what kind of information you're looking for. But also look at what descriptors you're using. Are you meticulous in your approach? Are you hardworking? Are you passionate about really getting involved in aerospace? What are your passions, and how can you really express that when you're describing yourself quickly and simply, but with a few descriptors that can really enhance the value of who you are on that day? But if you sketch it out at first before you go, and you do your research first of the companies who are going to be there, you might have a few bullet points for each company that you kind of emphasize when you introduce yourselves to them. So your name, your skills, your experience, possess related to the job, and soft skills. So one thing that I know to be true with almost every design job and every engineering and any sort of team type of based business, which is engineering. Any multidisciplinary business requires that you not only have the skills needed as an engineer, but also the ability to collaborate, the ability to adhere to non-disclosure agreements, the ability to communicate well and express and share where you are within the job, but also document where you are within the job as it's going along, and your ability to make the deadline and make sure that the deadline is done with a high level of accuracy and as required, or have that communication be extended to the team so that can be troubleshot within the team. So those are nuances that are really valuable within the business industry. Next slide, please. Creating your elevator pitch. So for those of you who haven't done this, and lucky for you, in my generation, we didn't have AI. But AI can be very useful only if you use it as an editor friend. You take the control, you control what you want to say, you give it examples of where you want to lead the conversation, and you act as the final editor as to what is being said. Don't have AI write the entire thing for you. You want to infuse your personality. You want to use this maybe as a sample, as a foundation for as you build it. But some of the things that you want to include, and the 7 key components that we're going to talk about, are: make sure you have your name, your education, your degree or major, in concentration and classification. Are you an honor student? Maybe even if you went to a specialized high school, maybe you had high ranking within that high school as well that you want to talk about, because maybe you're pretty fresh into college. Overview, what are some of the quantifiable aspects of your work to date and your experiences, and maybe some work experience that you have that's transferable. I know that there are many schools out there that provide really ample internships that really provide some real high level connection to industry already prior even to going into your college degree. So if you've worked with companies or have done internships with NASA or any scientific based or engineering or whatever industry that you are specializing in, make sure you lead with that emphasis point. Highly, having worked closely with in an internship at doing what? So significant accomplishments, results attained, and then targeted interest in the field, role, or organization. Many of you are still feeling it out. And with the changes in the industry of late, with sometimes some of the funds that have been allocated to research have gone away, so maybe research isn't as plentiful. There's always a lot of private industry that has money where that can still be found. So you might still be in a state of looking at several different paths, and that's okay. Just know that as you're talking to individuals on the floor, if they're looking for specific areas, talk about that. And you might say, I also have a secondary interest in this. Do you have opportunities like that within your company as well? It just may not be the time frame that maybe they don't have it at this time, but maybe next year they will, depending on what has been budgeted, what upcoming projects they're working on. Maybe they have a bid out that hasn't come back yet that might happen next year. So there's a lot of different timeframes that are kind of happening. So as you work on your summary of qualifications, these are some of the things that you might want to mention. Hello, my name is, I'm a third year student pursuing a whatever degree at whichever university. Over the past 2 years, I have developed a strong foundation in laboratory research through diverse hands-on projects that span both independent and collaborative settings. So these experiences have sharpened my skills in experimental design, lab reporting, collaboration, and data analysis. So whatever your laundry list is, you can also get an idea of what that laundry list is for your industry by looking at 5 jobs within competing companies. And you'll notice in the job descriptions that there are laundry lists of what they are requiring. And you might see them repeated over and over again in different companies in the same industry. So that'll give you some idea of what the national marketability of your skill is and the national, requirements for a specific role. So here we go. So collaboration and data analysis and have led to opportunities for both scholarship recognition and leadership roles. I am particularly interested in advancing my career through a specific field. And so this is just mainly conceptual stuff. This is pretty formalized. So yours may not be this formalized, but if you do formalize it on paper, it at least will have it kind of in your head so that when you shake hands, you have some of these things documented and you can kind of pull them up a little more organically than this sort of robotic mode, you know. So this is just a good rule of thumb of getting it down. So I'm particularly interested in advancing my career through a specific field, e.g. biotechnology, biomedical engineering, computational biology, with blank organization where I can contribute my technical expertise, expand my knowledge at the intersection of science and innovation. I truly appreciate the opportunity to connect. So one thing I also want to mention is sometimes science and engineering is global. So if you notice that while you're looking at companies and they have global opportunities, you might want to also let them know that you might be bilingual or trilingual in other languages where you might have the opportunity to work with foreign entities within another office. And that can be a real benefit as you're working with global companies. Next slide, please. Strategically plan your route. So you're there. What do? Well, grab a program, take a look at the floor plan, see what companies are there. They might even already have the floor plan online. So you can download it, you can print it out, you can circle which companies, you can have your notes from your research added. You can start planning, oh, I want to go to plan company A, B, and C, but I also want to let you know that if they're really popular companies, everybody's going to A, B, and C. So how do you plan to go around that big line so you're not wasting all your time in that one line where everybody's standing and you're getting the benefit of maybe hitting 5 or 6 other companies in the time that you might have been, stuck in that line for a while. And if sometimes those lines will dissipate over time, which can be a good thing, but at the same time, just kind of gauge it a little bit as you're looking around the floor. So walking around can be really good. Also, there are a lot of companies out there, a lot of startups right now, especially with AI and robotics happening and a lot of this autonomous stuff that's going on in the world. So you may not know of companies who will be in attendance, and this will give you an opportunity to kind of study signs, take a look at some of the, maybe they have prototypes set up on their table. They might even have some examples of bullet points of what it is that they do within their office environment that you can kind of assess. So now you can kind of check yourself and go, oh, I need to add this other company on my list and get over there. Maybe you just stop and kind of grab some information and introduce yourself and all that good stuff. So first time participants, of course, as you're kind of entering into this world of thousands of people on the floor, a lot of strangers, it can be a little overwhelming emotionally. It can also be very invigorating and exciting and, all the above. Pace yourself, take some time. If you're there with some friends that you might know at school, that's fine. Maybe go out with one other partner. There's a game called Centipede. I used to work a lot of game developers conferences, and I have a feeling that Centipede was developed because of what the game students look like on the conference floor. because I noticed that there's a long line of black clothing in the game world, and they look like centipedes roaming through the center of the crowd. So kind of go it alone. Show the confidence that you have in yourself. Maybe have one other person, but don't tether yourself so closely that you're kind of, uh side by side exactly, but you're there for comfort zone more than anything. But be yourself, shake your hands, work yourself into it a little bit. You can psych yourself up. You can step away if you're getting a little overwhelmed. Go outside, get some fresh air, sit down, have some water, and then go it again. Just little by little, step by step, inch by inch, if you approach it in whatever mode you feel most comfortable, you'll do great. I'm very social, but I'm also sometimes not so social in new environments. And so what I tend to do is if I know that somebody knows a lot of people and I'm connected to them, I might hang out with them for a bit so that I can be passively introduced to a lot of different people and then start to feel comfortable and then work my way into the crowd a little bit more. So practice your introduction with friends in front of the mirror for confidence. Kind of play it or play with it a little bit, massage it a bit so you're a little more comfortable with the knowledge. Let's move on to the next slide. Professional etiquette and networking. So here are some rules of engagement that'll help you, kind of get through the day. One thing I want to say, do not chew gum. You can chew gum before you get there. You might have some mints that are a little, good. But when nervous, sometimes chewing gum can kind of get in the way. Always stand, when being introduced. So if somebody introduces you and you're sitting down and having lunch, you know, being at the highest level is just, it shows, it commands respect. It shows that you have a really nice knowledge of how to behave in social situations. Having a firm handshake, unless the body language informs otherwise. Because we're coming out of a pandemic, some people are still a little skittish with handshakes or touching, and they might have a cold, especially if you see a mask. So try to read body language is a good thing to try and read anyway. If you see a little discomfort, if you see a little twinge, if you see that they're not so open and they're slightly to the side and kind of ignoring you a little bit, pay attention to that. Just know, approach with caution, with skill. Don't interrupt. Be interesting and brief. 30-second pitch. Don't take over a whole period of time. There's a long line behind you. Go quickly if you can. Let them know that you're very interested, that you'll reach out to them in some other way, maybe through LinkedIn, to finish the conversation and thank them, after the conversation, ask if it's okay to take some of the swag. So don't be one of the hands that kind of grabs through the crowd to grab that ball, to grab the pens, to grab the keychains. Be respectful and ask if it's all right if you do, because sometimes they require that you hit a certain benchmark before you take a t-shirt. So maybe you have to give them a resume, maybe they have to book appointments with you. Whatever it is, make sure you're asking respectfully what you can and cannot take. Keep your phone out of sight and in silent mode. You don't want to be too busy with the phone, but you do want to have it readily available so that if you do have your portfolio online and you need to show them something, you can take it out and scroll through some of the imagery that you might want to show them. You can have an iPad as well, but one is very different than the other if it's going to be a business device. Look people in the eye and smile, be friendly. You might be a little nervous, so sometimes a smile helps dissipate that straight face nervousness of over seriousness. So be comfortable. You don't have to be smiley, smiley. I tend to be a very smiley person, but it's okay. Sometimes I'm not so smiley. Sometimes I'm very serious in my approach, but there's still a comfortable seriousness. So follow up with contacts if you receive a business card. And if you don't receive a business card, ask for one. See if they have extras and if they might even have some on the tabletop. Is it all right if I take a business card with me to contact you later? Yes, absolutely. And sometimes they might say, we'd like you to meet with someone. Let me write, they might document their name down. So, take that card and maybe make some notes on the back of the card as to who that individual is. On your way out, say thank you very much. Appreciate your time and go to the next table. Next slide, please. Asking questions, keep conversations light and positive. I like to say, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. don't talk about what you did wrong, only talk about what you can do well. And if they force you to say something, well, then find the positive. Well, at one point I wasn't so great with deadlines, so what I've done to make sure that I'm much better with them is I've taken, a project management course, and I use agile technology and scheduling within my calendar to correct this in my nature. So use what you have, previously completed research, material brought by the company. Use questions to show your interest in the company and the position. And this is where research comes in handy. If you know more about the company and some of the projects that you're working on, and maybe you watched a video and there's this really cool project that they have, you might even want to bring that up if you start talking about a certain area. Maybe it's in propulsion and you want to talk about what you read about. Ask questions about recruiting level or specific practices, examples. What are they looking for in an employee? Are they currently hiring for your specialty? Can they give you any feedback on maybe some of the work that you have if you're having that great conversation? And they might even say yes, but not today, or maybe later on. Let's book an appointment. We have somebody who's coming back who'll be doing this. So a lot of times they might have different staff members coming on at different times for different purposes. So, pay attention to that scheduling if they bring it up. And maybe you'd like to learn more about something or other. And when will you begin interviews for summer interns? So a lot of companies will recruit for summer interns 1 year before. Especially engineering companies tend to recruit the summer before the summer of need. Other companies, they might, especially startups, they might be within a 6 month time frame of recruitment. They're a lot smaller, a little more agile. And then others might just have new contracts that came in and they might need a whole onslaught of new internships. So always stay open. Just because one company does it one way doesn't mean all the companies do it a specific way. So always ask, and maybe even have sort of a spreadsheet that you start to, as you find this information out, you might add it to your information so that you can kind of keep a record for your future self. Next slide, please. Take notes. Take notes. There's a lot of information going in your head, a lot of conversations being had, a lot of names being tossed around for you to contact and recontact or even connect with. So after speaking with a company, be sure to take notes. So if you get a business card, take the note, flip it on the back side, add any notes about the conversation that you might have had, the person that you met with, the person that they want you to connect with in whatever department it is, but maybe not in the line. You might step aside so that they're not seeing you write all this down. Make sure you get the contact information. And also, if they didn't give you a business card, they might just have a flyer there that talks about the positions. So you can put the notes on the back of that as well, wherever it kind of reminds you what company it was and what they're looking for. And then any follow-up tasks. So did they say, we love your work, we love what's going on, but we'd really like to see what you mentioned as far as what you're currently working on, and get back to us and get that to us when you're done. So make sure you have that send final completed project to so-and-so at such and such an email. Something memorable. So as you leave the table, what is something that you can say that is memorable, that will have you stand out as a very individualistic individual when there's a sea of people meeting this person? So I tend to have a sense of humor. So I might joke around a little bit. I might say something a little, but that's just me. And it's worked in the past. I met when I was at Disney once for a trade show. These two women were talking about tacos. And one woman was Mexican and one woman, I think, was Arabic. And I said, "Oh, I match both of those because I'm a Lebanese Mexican and I'm American, but my father has Lebanese culture, born and raised in Mexico." And I said, "Our tacos are stuffed grape leaves." And so for years after that, I was the stuffed grape leaves taco girl. But it's a visual, and in the industry, it might be another visual. It might be a rocket ship, but I was dealing with animation and game development, so it had to be very visual and a little funny. and it had to be sort of appropriate for that moment, but it stuck, and forever and ever and ever. It was just a way to reintroduce myself after some time had passed, that kind of made that connection. And that might not work for you, but you can find something that works for you. Do not write your notes in front of your employer. So, but make sure that you keep them in a good place, that all those notes are really important for later use, and you're going to follow up with them shortly. So next slide, please. Follow up. So follow up with the leads that interest you, even if they aren't hiring. Thank them for their time at the fair, link in with them at LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, email the recruiter, revisit your notes. Thank you so much for the conversation about, so they can remember who you were. Do not expect a quick response. Their inbox is going to be full. They're just getting back. They're unloading a lot of resumes. They also probably have deadlines when they get back to work because they've been away for a couple of days. So send your updated work or information that you didn't have at the job fair. And if directed to complete an application, do so. Send thank you email to the recruiter and inform him or her that you have applied and that it's ready to go. And then, of course, request a LinkedIn connection. Do those as soon as possible. Even if you walk away from that table and do it right then and there, this way they just met with you, they remember your face within that 1 hour time frame, so that you might have that connection right away. That cool thing about LinkedIn is that it is a live document that changes as people move to different locations. So and it's also portable, so it's your LinkedIn page. You can't take databases from companies as you go from one company to another, but you can take LinkedIn from wherever you go. So if this employer is with NASA and now they're working for General Atomic, now you can see where they've moved and now you still have that connection. And this also goes for the students that you meet at this event from all over the country. As you meet people, link in with them, because you never know where they're going to be 5 years from now. And you may have had a really good conversation, a really great connection just in that short period of time that will allow you to grow your network nationwide, maybe even internationally, depending on where you're coming from. So next slide, please. LinkedIn. So why LinkedIn? There's professional social media platform, over 1.2 billion global users as of January 2025. Networking, 90% of recruiters source on LinkedIn, access to LinkedIn Learning, build your online branding, research companies, alumni, and groups. The one thing about groups, which is super cool, is you can find niche groups that are in your specialty zone, and you can have 40 groups that you connect with. These groups will give you information on what's happening in the industry, conversations that are happening out in the global marketplace for that industry, but it will also help you see as industries are growing. So maybe you're really good with a specific software that's just emerging and there's only 300 members, but within 6 months, there's 2,000 members. And then with 1 year, there's 15,000 members. You can see something grow and you can start to see if it's plentiful, and you can also start your own group. So if you have an ideology or something that you want to grow and you want to bring those people your way, you can create a new concepted group and bring the people your way so that you can create whatever you want out of that industry. So, and by joining groups, it helps you populate your job bank so you can see more job opportunities in the second connection versus the third connection, which is too far. So also, LinkedIn, it's portable and can update as members change employment. And that's really cool to see. You can also see how your friends have grown. And you can also see the trajectory of previous careers when you go into LinkedIn. So if you want to see an engineer who's working at SpaceX in mechanical engineering and what they started off to begin with before they went to SpaceX, you can maybe find somebody who worked at SpaceX and look at their entry-level role and see how did they grow. What is a realistic plan of action for growing into the industry? Next slide, please. Network and the jobs will follow. So networking doesn't just happen at trade shows. It can happen in all the things that you do in your life. And in fact, those are the best things. I like to call them juxtapositions. And there are really cool ways that you can find your ideal roles when you're doing a Google search. So for instance, I'm a career advisor, but I've been in bands. I like to sing. So I might want to work for a music school doing career advising at some point, and that might bring my two interests together. But basically, as you network, opportunities are attached to people. You can identify people in your network. So maybe your parents know people, maybe you know some people from your church organization, maybe there's a club that you belong to outside of school that might be the organization that oversees mechanical engineers in your city. And, by having these connections, it just gives you a lot more opportunity to have individuals who can validate for your character, for your skill, for the kind of individual that you are, your soft skills, and know that you're a really good person and vouch for that so that it makes it easier to get your foot in the door. It's hard to really tell who individuals are from a piece of paper. And that's why we encourage portfolios, and that's why going to these trade shows are also very good because now you can meet face to face and now your personality can shine through. So professional networks are employers, staff and faculty, the Career Center and alumni events. Like I have 25 years of experience. I have former students all over the globe. I mean, I have people in Saudi Arabia who are working for development processes over there. I have students in, France and Spain and New York and all over the globe. It's been great. But what I also do is I have relationships with some of these students who are now maybe hiring managers or department managers. And if there's something that clicks in my meeting with a student and I feel that there's something that might connect this individual to somebody I have out here in the world that I connected with prior to, I'll use LinkedIn to network them and I will start the conversation in a three-person conversation and say, hey, so and so, I have this really great student, reminded me of you. I think you'll have a lot to talk about. Will you do me a favor and meet up with them and I'll send them off on the conversation. I might even gauge the conversation for a little bit to kind of see how they're doing. And then once they're on their way, I'm out. So there's a lot of things you can do. So professional organizations, those are really great. If you can volunteer at professional organizations, that get you in the door, you get to meet the board of directors, you get into these events for free, and you might even sign everybody in at the table and get to know who they are and where they work. So informal, immediate and extended family, friends and colleagues, community in your major, people with common interests. Okay, so I'm gonna hustle through these next. I think we're almost done. Next slide. Yes, ready, set, go. You're ready to go. Okay, so next slide. Questions.
Thank you so much, Lisa. These are fantastic tips and advice. Yeah, just from my own personal experience, everything you said, I agree with and resonate with. And I feel like I learned some stuff from you as
Oh,
well here as
good.
well. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Um, I invite those in the audience to write your questions in the chat and we'll bring them to Lisa and see what she says. One of the first ones came up was more related to the STEM meeting in specific, which I answered, which is what companies and organizations will be at our Scholars Meeting Career and Education Fair. So now that the Whova app is launched, please go in and when you log in, the main screen on the app, there'll be little rectangles and one of them will say exhibitors. Click on that and a full list of the exhibitors that will be at our meeting will be on there. And then we will be posting, as Lisa said, a floor plan where that will show you where the booths are, where the exhibitors are located. We'll post that under our resource documents, and we encourage you to take a look at all of the exhibitors listed and the booths prior to you coming to San Diego. That'd be great, and do take up some of those tips that Lisa had mentioned. Somebody had mentioned, had a question about traditional like paper resumes. Is it still good to have copies of your resume to hand out? But then, we talk so much about LinkedIn. Is there a way to like have QR phones on your code on your QR codes on your phone to your LinkedIn? What is your advice about like physical digital resume handout?
Well, like people, everybody has a different opinion. So some of the recruiters might want paper resumes. Some might say, we don't want your paper resumes. We want you to apply online and then get back with us. If you have a paper resume, you might want to have a QR code at the top, especially if you're hyperlinking it to some portfolio elements so that they can actually get to the PDF that is digital, that is online for them. So the paper might just refer to a digital file that will eventually get them there. But don't make the HR person or the recruiter or whoever's at the table jump through too many hoops to get to what you need or to get to your documents, because if they can't have it and have it in the palm of their hand, it may not ever exist. So I like leave behinds. I think it's really important. And they will usually take, maybe they don't want everything, maybe they don't want your portfolio, but they will definitely take that resume. So if you do have a portfolio, make sure there's a link that they can get to quick and easy. I hope that answers. I mean, if there's something specific, feel free to ask it.
Feel free to ask questions in the chat. Talking about resumes and our meeting this year, I don't know if you want to give a few seconds to talk about our closing session that you'll be facilitating about resume review.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a speed resume review, which has a rubric of all the things that are really great to have on an ideal resume. And so even if I can't really review your resume directly, it'll give you the checklist, and I'll be running around just to have fun, and I'll team you up with another person with some examples of what a good resume looks like with a template that is available for you to use that kind of gives you the guidelines of what to include. But what a really great resume, especially in engineering and in those areas, is really talking about what it is that you have. You might have a couple of sections that are relevant experience, that might be work or internships that you have, or it might be project experience, projects that you've done in your high school years as well as in your college years, but you're listing the most relevant first or the most recent first, and then also including some of the pipelines. So when you're listing projects, don't just say it was class number 506, whatever class it was. Give it a proof of concept title that will describe what kind of project you're talking about. So walking robot, and maybe you were the Python programmer, or maybe you were the team lead slash programmer. And when did this project take place? And from concept to completion of the project, what did you do? Did you research, design, develop, test, and debug, whatever it was? Did you also document it and pass it on to the next team advisor to kind of move forward? Did you also coordinate project meetings? You know, what was it that you did from concept to completion? So as you look at job descriptions and you see the bullet points that are in those job descriptions, start making little highlights of things that you've done in your own projects and bring those over into your own projects, so that you're really speaking the same language of the industry and you're knowing how to state that conceptual development within your own resume in the language that they understand.
Great, thank you. And we encourage for those who are attending the Scholars Meeting to bring paper copies of your resume and participate in Lisa's session on Saturday morning so that you can get your resume physically mocked up by somebody else, given Lisa's expert guidance. So thank you.
It'll be fun.
It will be, yes. There was another question, an interesting question. Somebody had messaged me to say for them. So this individual is a male, and due to their religion, they're not able to shake hands with anybody of the opposite gender. So how do you advise somebody in that situation what to do? Because you talked about giving, firm handshakes and that kind of professional etiquette. What do you do when, like, for religious reasons, it doesn't align with the professional etiquette, in this case, in the handshakes?
So much in the body language, I think there can be a lot of respect that's given. So in many ways, a head nod, or even like in the pandemic, it was a shoulder tap. So sometimes, I mean, culturally, that's a sensitive place because not everybody understands international relationships. But I think it's also all right to say that I'm sorry, I'm not able to shake hands due to personal reasons. And a lot of people get that. That is something, especially a recruiter will understand that. In my former role, I worked at another campus that was architecture based, and we had a lot of students coming in from Saudi Arabia. So, as far as my etiquette goes, I would always meet with a student, I'd shake hands and reach out. And they'd smile, they'd say, I'm so sorry, I can't. And then it just took me a while. So then there were times I was surprised when sometimes the students became a little more Americanized, where they would reach out and shake my hand, and I was surprised. So just go with the who you are, but be respectful in how you deliver the information.
Great. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Um, so we are kind of ending up on time, but I do want to ask one question myself because I tend
Okay.
to be more of an introverted person and sometimes just automatically get nervous when it comes to like having to introduce yourself to other people and talk in large crowds, things like that. What is your tips or advice for those who sort of feel like a lack of confidence to make yourself like a confidence booster or to get through and be able to shine, you know? How do you break that kind of fear and that kind of feelings to overcome them?
There's a lot of techniques. There's one that I love specifically, and I've tested it with some students. They seem to like it. So usually wherever you have a shy person, you have a very gregarious friend. So when you go to this trade show, you might want to emulate that gregarious friend and be that friend for the day. And really kind of emulate what would they do in this situation. And then just really get beyond, don't look at the fear. Don't look at what's stopping you, but look at the goal. What do I want to achieve? What is what I would like to do? You have one chance. Walk through every door. And look at it as an adventure. Who am I going to meet today? And yes, that might bring some fear, but also you can be quiet. You can be soft and gentle. You can be a little nervous. There have been instances, I mean, I've kind of broken through that a little bit, but I mentioned I'm into music and I sing, and there was a time when I was doing open mics, and I was my very first open mic, I was freaked out, but I wanted to sing more than I wanted to feel fear.
Mhm.
So I had to get up. I was nervous as heck at first, but eventually, as you move through that fear, it washes away. And you might have to go through several iterations of this. And that's why start at a table that you don't even care about. Work through that conversation at first with somebody where you could just blow it and walk away and then do better in the next table. The other thing is just say, oh, I'm a little shy. I'm a little nervous. And that lets the person know that they need to be a little more gentle with you, and that's okay. So sometimes calling attention to it just puts it away, and now you don't have to focus on it anymore. Those are just a couple of techniques.
Those are great tips. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of your support of our STEM scholars and sharing your expert advice. And so looking forward to seeing you in San Diego in person.
Likewise.
And I hope a lot of our attendees engage in your resume review speed review workshop. So thank you,
Yeah.
Lisa. Yeah,
So if you are here today and you attend the resume workshop, let me know because I don't see your faces. So
mhm,
just say, hey, I was on mine, and well, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to connect in real life.
definitely. Thank
So
you.
thank you so much, everyone. It's been
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
And we just have one last housekeeping item for you all, and that's a reminder to take our short survey to provide your feedback. There's a QR code, there's a link, and also this will pop up as you exit Zoom today. Please share your thoughts and feedback, your suggestions, because like I said, we truly take a look at these and use them to inform our future workshops, webinars, activities. So thanks in advance. And just a reminder to please stay connected with us. These are all different ways that you can connect on our mailing list, on our LinkedIn. You know, as Lisa said, LinkedIn is a wonderful tool to connect with each other. We want to encourage you to use it to connect with other colleagues. So please join our Scholars Alumni Community Group and connect with us on our regular LinkedIn page. And then we also have a brand new Blue Sky uh, page as well. So let me pop all of these in the chat for you to easily find them. So thank you so much. We're so looking forward to meeting you all in San Diego. And a huge thanks to Lisa for sharing her expert tips and advice with us. Safe travels to San Diego, everybody. Can't wait to see you there.